Hello, it's Cooking with Tim, and today I'm going to do something I was asked what to do with chicken breasts. So, we have some chicken breasts, boneless, skinless. I mean, you can do the same thing. I've just thawed them out. They're frozen. We could do the same thing and have them skinned, take the skin off, or that. I've got some. We're going to have some cheese, so we're going to jaunt to that. You can pick any cheese you want. I happen to pick some Monterey Jack jalapeno. It's on sale. And you say, well, that's pretty spicy. It isn't by the time you put the chicken on. A lot of people go, it's the same old boring chicken. It's boring by the time we've done it. We're going to use just some Alfredo sauce. I could make my own, but I'm going to use the canned Alfredo sauce so we can do something that's quick. We're going to use some panko breadcrumbs. We're going to use some salt, pepper, paprika, red pepper flakes, some chopped garlic up. And if you bought this and then you didn't use it, stovetop stuffing that's on there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some Alfredo sauce and I've got a nice cast iron pan that I like to use in the oven, and I just put some Alfredo sauce, and I'm just going to just get it so that there's a little bit of sauce at the bottom in there. That's our first step. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these chicken breasts, I'm going to lay them in this pan. Now I've got a lot of chicken breasts in here, right? So you don't have to do this. You can make it smaller, and just the amount that's going to be, you're going to use it, and it will be smaller, so you can do it at 2 or 4. In this particular case, I'm using about seven chicken breasts. Now's the time, and the only time we're going to be able to season it. So we're going to put our seasoning on top of those chicken breasts right now. I'm going to be hitting them with what a lot of people might consider a lot of pepper. So I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of pepper on these 7. So you'll see I'm just putting on some pepper. So I'm going to have a fair amount of seasoning on here. If you don't want as much pepper on here, that's understandable, and that's fine too. I'm going to use more pepper than maybe people would want, but I'm going to have some kick on here. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to put about a half a teaspoon of salt. There's point times where I don't put any salt into recipes, and there's times where I've put more salt in. In this case, I'm going to put about a half teaspoon. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some paprika, and you can see we're just really I'm just going in here and shaking. In here, there's probably about half a teaspoon of paprika when I'm finished. I'm using smoked paprika. You don't have to. Next, I'm going to do some chili flakes. You can leave this out if you don't want any heat in here. I'm actually going to sprinkle some chili flakes on half. So I'm going to leave the ones that are going to be on the one side, and I'll mark that later on how it's with no chili flakes. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take about 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to spread the garlic all over the chicken breast. So now I've got our garlic on there. We've got our pepper flakes, our paprika, and our salt and pepper on there, and so that is pretty much done. Now we're going to take on the panko breadcrumbs we got, and we're just going to put a dusting of breadcrumbs on them. I'll explain that in a sec. We're just going to take here, I open up the panko breadcrumbs, and I'm just doing just a dusting across them. Okay, we're going to do that. And what that's going to do, even though you're going to see me put sauce on here next, is it's going to give us a bit of an insulation in there. So it just gives a little bit of crispiness in here when it's done. But so just got the panko thing. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit it with a bit of sauce. And in here I'm filling up around the edges of sauce so that we've got. See there? We're going to go across here. I'm going to use about a jar of sauce. Just sprinkle that on there. When you get the sauce finished, I may just take a bit of water and shake that up and put the rest of it on there as well. So here we are. We've got once, so we've used up the rest of the cream sauce, and we've just really filled around the edges and in between those. Now we're going to do another little dusting of panko breadcrumbs. It's just a little bit, just enough to sort of cover up that. Okay. Now we're going to take and we're going to add. I've got 2 cups of cheese, but you're going to use probably, depending on what it is, so 4, maybe 3/4 of a cup, or a cup. Just it is. I like a little bit more cheese. This is going to get some kick in there, but not a great deal. Here we are with lots of cheese, and so we're going to just sprinkle this cheese in here. And as I said, I'm going to use about 2 cups total, but you may want to use less. It depends how many chicken breasts you got. So I'm just sprinkling with cheese. Here we go. And I used probably about a half of my cheese is what I've got there. So we're going to hold the rest of the cheese for a minute. And here we are. So we're just using the Kraft's stovetop stuffing. We're not cooking it at all. We're just literally opening up the bag, and we're going to dump this and cover it. It's ready to go back. I thought I cut it open, but it wasn't quite for that one. So here we go. We're going to just dump in our stuffing. We're going to cover this with stuffing. There you go. And you can just take our spatula if you want and move it around so that you've got it, so you don't have to get your hands in there. I mean, you'll see me with gloves all the time, but we're just going to put that on there. And so that's the whole package of stuffing. The mix that's in there. Stove stop, nothing else on there. Just going to do that. Now I'm going to take another can of Alfredo sauce. Now you can at this point in time just put some cheese on it and throw it in the oven, but I'm going to put another shot of Alfredo sauce on here with this mini chicken breast. And I'm just sort of lazing it on. When I say lazing it on, just a little bit across, all the way across here. And this will give them some moisture in the stovetop stuffing to be able to go. But if I wasn't using as many chicken breasts, I probably would have used half of it, and then at the very end throw the other half on the top. So we just got a sort of a glaze of it over top of it. Take the rest of our cheese, and I'm gonna sprinkle on the cheese on top of this. So you're creating a bit of layers, but you notice it's not. You know, my wife would cringe if she saw me cooking this with a massive amount of cheese, but it's not. I'm just putting cheese on that. If it was just me, and it is probably just for me and my son, but it was just me alone was thinking of, I probably would put more cheese on it. So there we've got that, and now we're going to go back to our panko breadcrumbs again. And again, I just picked these up. I like those. They're nice and crispy, and we're just going to put another little coating of panko breadcrumbs on there. These are panko breadcrumbs. If you want some color, you know, to jazz this up and make it look good, you can put some more paprika on there, and I maybe will. I just dusted. There's probably 1/4 teaspoon of paprika on top of that, and we're ready to go. So into the oven, I'm going to put this in for an hour and 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Then we're going to put a probe in there and make sure we're at 165 in temperature on each one of them. So you're going to use less or more, and just get yourself a probe and just get in the habit of probing them and seeing what the temperature is. You got pretty inexpensive ones now, and this is an instant probe. I think it was $10. You can just see it comes out. You can get it in Celsius or Fahrenheit, and just push the button on Celsius and Fahrenheit. It comes up, and just stick it into your meat product and get to the temperature you've got. So right now it's 19°C, and so it's 67.5 degrees out here, just about 68 degrees out in the kitchen. Just remember, after you're done, clean the probe. And that is it. So into the oven, 400 degrees. Important thing. covered versus uncovered. I'm going to cover it with tinfoil, and I'm going to cover it for tinfoil for about 3/4 of its cooking. And then I'm going to take it off, so it does get a little steam effect. I'm going to take it off for the last half and just crisp up the top.